Welcome back to part 4 of the Caroline bag. This part is very simple. I would consider it to be easier than yesterday, but because there will be a lot of sewing given how long the back straps is, I decided to split this into part 4. Hopefully that make your day a lot lighter. First, we're going to start with D-rings. So for D-rings, you need the 3 D tabs. Now, depending what kind of sewing kits you bought, the medium side or the large side, your D-ring could be 2 or 3. If you got the medium side, there will only be 2 D-rings. Even though I'm making a medium side, for the purpose of the demo and the instructions, I'm going to be making 3 D-rings. For the D-rings, we're going to do a similar step to how we make the zipper tab as yesterday. So take one of your D-ring, do a book fold. For me, this piece is square, but if you have one that is a rectangle, you want to fold in half lengthwise. Fold in half. Crease the line really well. I found out by creasing the line, it makes it easier for you to see where the center point is. Then open the piece, take this edge and fold towards the center. Then fold in half, just like that. Repeat for the other 2. The size thickness of this strap should be the size of the interior of your D-rings. So you take one of your D-ring and you fit it through the interiors. It should be the size of your D-ring. Now take these pieces to the sewing machines, and what we want to do is sew around the rectangle frame. I forgot to mention that you want to sew at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. If you're doing one at a time, you have to pull the thread out, sniff the thread, then continue the next piece. For the next 2, I'm going to show you a little tricks on how to continuously sew all of these pieces at once. Once you get to the edge, prep the other piece and then feed it through, like how you feed the first piece. So continue. Once you're almost towards the end of this piece, stop, leave the needle in place, take your scissors, snip the other piece off, and then feed it through. It's like an infinite loop, but then that way you don't waste extra thread. And there you have it, all 3 pieces. Take your D-rings, parts E3, and again, depending on the sewing kits you bought, you might have 2 D-rings or 3 D-rings. Thread one of the end through the little hole on the D-ring. Roughly put the D-ring at the center, then fold the tab in half. Look at that. You now have a D-ring with the tab on. Okay, so take it to the sewing machines and sew a line across at 1/2 inch seam allowance. It's okay if you have this part here because when we attach it to the bag, we won't see this part. Try to sew a straight line across at 1/2 of an inch seam allowance from this end inward. And you're going to repeat the same for the other 2, or if you're making a medium side, the other one. To temporarily secure this in place and hold it in place so that it's easier for you to sew, clip it in place temporarily. Look how cute these are. I love bag hardware. For this step, you can use the same tricks I showed you previously to save your threads. Since we're sewing to multiple layers of con canvas, please sew slowly and be careful. Make sure your needle can handle that. If you're having issue with your sewing machines going over the thick layers of con canvas, then what you need to do is change your needle to a thicker side. So I recommend that you move either to a size 18 or a size 19. D-rings, done. Next, we will be making the adjustable straps. For the back straps, we need B4 parts. This is the straps. So usually B4 is the same solid color as all the other B parts. But because I'm trying to play around with color for fun for my back here, I'm decided to use a white one. In addition to the B4 piece, you also need the swivel hooks, which is E4, and you also need the slider, which is E5. To make the adjustable straps, we will repeat the steps we did for the D-rings tab. Basically the same step, but it's just long. This is why I says this part, it's a lot of sewing because you gotta sew around all this long piece of fabric. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take this fabric. I'm gonna show you a small demo on this piece instead of the whole piece. I can't get this whole thing in the frame. Fold in half and crease really well. If you don't crease really well, you can't see the line. Then you're gonna take the side edge and fold towards that crease line. Take this side, fold towards the crease line. And then you're gonna fold in half again. And once you finish that, you will have this strip right here. Now, tips is because this strap is really long, I will clip it in place temporarily as I go. If you have any tips on how to do this all at once, let me know. Another tips I have, if you have difficulty keeping it in place, you could also iron it along the way and then it will stay in place. I'm going to continue doing the same steps throughout this whole strap piece and I'll be back with the completed piece. I finished folding the back straps and now we're going to take it to the sewing machines and you're going to sew all around along the edges at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. It's going to be quite a lot of sewing. But I think this steps is really good if you're a beginner sewer because that way you could get used to your sewing machines and learn how to sew straight. I know when I first start sewing, I have a lot of trouble trying to sew on a straight line. So making this back strap will actually give you a lot of time to practice your straight stitching skill. All right, enough talking. Let's go to the sewing machines. The back straps are now done. Now the next thing to do is to add the hardware so that we can make this back strap adjustable. Grab one of the end of your back strap. It doesn't matter which end. Take this end and grab your slider, E5. Looking at your slider, you will notice that one side of this metal bar, there's a visible edge of the metal flowing over. So, do you see that? This is the wrong side. The right side is the one where you do not see that metal fall over on the edge, okay? Now, take one of your fabric end, thread it through the slider like this. If you sew this piece correctly, this part should not be complicated. The slider should fit perfectly to the back straps. Then take the end, thread it through about a couple inches, I don't know, like this much. And then take the same end and thread it through the other side of that metal bar. What you end up with is this will be your right side. This will be your back side. Try to have this end roughly at 2 inches So you can move the slider down just roughly. It doesn't have to be exactly at 2 inches, but just roughly. We're going to take this end, fold it in half towards that metal bar, then fold it again. This is to make sure that we can hide the raw edges. Now you're going to take this to the sewing machines and sew across. Now for this step, because we're sewing through so many thick layers, I'm going to change this needle out from a size 16 to a size 18. You could also change it out to a size 19 if you have that. When making bags, it is always best to have a variety of heavy-duty size needle because you never know when you will need to change out to a heavier side depending on how many layers of fabric you're going through. My machine definitely didn't like that, but it's so fine after I changed out the needle. Now, because of this slider right here is very close to this pressure foot, I'm going to go ahead and manually turn the hand wheel to create stitches across for this part because I do not want my pressure foot to get stuck on this slider and then snapped or anything damaged to my sewing machine. So I'm just going to do this manually. And of course, there's part that's a little hard and it just helped my sewing machine a little bit. And once you get towards the end, lift up your pressure feet and then pull it out. Now, here's a little tip. Don't cut it too short. To lock in the thread on the side here, what we're going to do is manually tie this part. Do like maybe 3 loops just to secure it in place. We're going to repeat on this side as well. After you tie it tight, you can then snip off the extra. Do you see this edge of fraying here? I have a tips for how to remove this, but I did not put it in the instruction booklet for safety reason. The tip is to light it a little bit on fire. Very quick. Don't go slow, because if you go slow, what will happen? It will catch on fire. Okay? So now you can see that the edge here are now sealed. All good, and ready on to the next steps. For the next step, grab one of the swivel hooks E4. Now, this piece is the other end that we just installed, right? The slider right here. Take the opposite end, the one that we have not used. Make sure you have it facing the right way. So what I usually do is I pull it and I try to fold it in the right direction. So basically, the fold have to be on the right side, like this, okay? This is very crucial because if you install it wrong, you will have a twisted adjustable straps. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna take the swivel hooks and you're gonna thread this end through the swivel hooks. Okay, so it should look like this naturally, right? Let me try to show you like this. If I stretch out my strap, there should be no twist in it, and both of this are on the same side of the strap. So you can take the same end that has the swivel hooks and thread to the slider. Once you thread to the slider once, you're gonna go ahead and thread it to the other side of the slider. This is what you should have. Something like this. Once you have this, take your other swivel hooks and this end, slide it through the swivel hook. So this is what it should look like. Make sure everything faces the right directions, like all the swivel hooks should be facing up with the right side of the slider facing up as well. You want to take this end and pull it through the swivel hook roughly about 2 inches. Now you're going to take this end, fold it in half roughly, and this half should be about 1 inch if you fold in half, right? Then you fold in half again. This piece right here should roughly be about 1 inch, like how we did it before. And we're going to take this to the sewing machines and sew again. Backstrap is now done, and we also have the D-ring completed earlier. I hope that was not too difficult for today. Hopefully that was easy enough. Was I right that it was a lot of sewing? The adjustable strap is actually very easy to make. With some hardware and some technique, you will get a really nice adjustable back straps. It just takes a lot of straight stitching and a lot of sewing all at once. But once you finish it, you now learn how to make an adjustable straps. Now we're going to save this D-ring for later, and part 4 is now complete. Come and join me tomorrow for part 5, the final parts. We are almost there, you guys. Part 5 is the finale. We are gonna finish this bag